All right, Sisterhood team call. Welcome everyone, September 22. Just a couple weeks until Team Cup, and super excited about that. Before we do anything, let's do a little recognition if anyone wants to take themselves off mute.
I'll go. 6 weeks is come and gone, and I am just so thrilled to say that Clarissa has officially qualified for the Blue Mountain Retreat. And you know, I can't say, I feel like I'm a broken record, but Clarissa, honestly, linking arms with you in this business has been like everything I've imagined. So I'm just super proud of you, and I can't wait for us to road trip together and get down to that retreat.
Anybody else want to go? I will shout out Deanna. I am so excited for Deanna. She hit diamond last year. Look at her cheering there. And then dropped it. And guys, that's a reality in this business. A lot of people hit a new rank and then they aren't able to hold it. This business is so much based on others wanting to build alongside you. So I am so proud of Deanna to announce today she is back into the rank of diamond. Congrats on your pay raise, and congrats for being so persistent in your pursuit to do this business. I see you, and I wanted to recognize you for that. I see Danny on. Does anybody else have any other recognition?
I'll go. Just want to give a massive shout out to Koo, who will be qualifying officially for her 1-star. I'm so proud of you, and you've worked so friggin' hard for this. And I'm just like, cannot wait to hug you at the retreat. Way to go. Not to mention, you're now going to NLC next year in January, which is massive. You've worked so hard for this. I'm so proud of you. Way to go.
All right, is that everybody? Going once, going twice? I had this pulled up. All right, I am so excited to have our guest speaker on tonight, Dettra. Am I saying that right? I just said it in my stories. I am, okay. I want to read off to you some of her stats. Wife to John, mama to Chloe, founder of Team Boss Babes, 8-star diamond in her first CBC, 5-star diamond in her second, 1-star diamond in her third, Success Club All-Star Legend for 62 consecutive months. She was a premier coach in 2019 and 2020. She was an elite coach last year, and she's already locked in elite for this year. Danny kind of came on my radar. I know, that's like, Danny kind of came on my radar maybe last year sometime when she was on the National Wake Up Call. I really felt like we were a lot alike. She resonated with me, everything she was saying. And then recently reconnected in our mastermind for the West Coast, 5 to 8-star diamond. So I reached out to her and I asked to swap calls. I'm super excited and honored that she's here to speak to us about Build Your Squad, because she has clearly been building hers. That's it. The floor is yours. Thank you so much for your time, Danny.
Yay, thank you guys so much for having me. I have a little presentation. So can you allow me to share my screen? Okay, perfect. This here, prevent. Okay, so like Courtney said, my name is Dettra. I live in Portland, Oregon with my darling husband, John, and my daughter, Chloe. She is 4. I've been a Beachbody coach for 6.5 years now, which is crazy to say. And so tonight I'm going to talk about something that I'm really passionate about, and that is building your squad, AKA building your team. So a couple years ago, I was feeling as if I should be further along, which is a feeling that a lot of people probably have in the business. And it's totally normal and it's such a human thing to do, but I want you to promise tonight that you're no longer going to should on yourself. I should be further along. I should be making this. I should be this rank. I should be achieving this, or I should have that. When you do that, it's this victim mentality, like you have no control over what's happening in your business. And what I want to leave you with tonight is you taking extreme ownership. That's actually a book that I'm listening to, but you take extreme ownership of your business. So when in this moment where I was feeling like I should have all of these things because I've been a coach for, at that point, 4 years, right? I should be further along. I should be making more money. I should have a higher rank, all of these things. I had to take a deep dive into my gut and really gut check myself on what I was actually doing in the business. Because what a lot of coaches do, including myself, is feel like we're doing all of this stuff when we're really just staring at our phone for an extended period of time each day, right? So I can give you one really crystal clear example. When Emily Faber went from diamond to 15 star in like 90 days, my inner mean girl was like, what is she doing that I'm not doing? Like, I'm working just as hard. And then after listening to her say she was sending 50 to 70 invites a day every single day, I was not doing that. And even if I was, who's to say that I would have had those same results? So I want you to keep your blinders on. I want you to take extreme ownership of what you're actually doing in the business, not you feel like you're doing. And if you're not tracking, then I'm just going to tell you right now, if you're not tracking your business activities, it is because you are unwilling to grow. When coaches tell me like, oh yeah, I'm doing it, I just don't fill out the tracker, I'm like, you are absolutely not doing it. Because if you were, then you would fucking check the little box, right? Like if you're doing it, then you would have no problem checking it up. And it's easy to think like, oh my gosh, I'm starting so many conversations, when really you're spending all day talking to coaches on your team on social media. You're not actually talking to new people. You're inviting the same 3 people that you've been inviting for the last 6 years. You need to track in order to grow, because what we focus on expands. So if you're just keeping track in your mind, unless you're an idiot savant, then you really have no idea what you're doing, right? So those are just a couple things that I wanted to share with you. And so I had to get crystal clear on what exactly I was doing and why I was doing it. Now, I have no problem filling a boot camp. I have never had a problem hitting Success Club, and it's not because it's easy for me. It's because I put in the work and I know the value of what I have to offer. And so I go out there and I invite people every day for the last 6 years. I'm not that person that is like, oh my gosh, this is so uncomfortable, I'm just going to wait for people to come to me. Even 6 years in now with a decent following, people still don't come to me. Nobody is banging down my door to fucking get on my team or get in my boot camps. Like, I have to go invite people to do this with me. I have to be brave first. I have to go pave the path for them and share and share and share and share and share and share, so that when I am inviting, they are aware of what I'm doing and are more likely to at least say yes to information. But for me, I've never had that where like everybody just comes to me. And I honestly don't believe that that's a duplicatable skill. So I hope tonight that you agree that you have a gift to offer and that you want to go out there and share it with as many people as possible. So how to recruit to your team. This is like a huge question that people ask, even my own coaches. Like, I can't find coaches, right? Like, nobody wants to work. And you have to understand that the thoughts that you think and tell yourself over and over and over again are eventually going to become your reality, right? So if you continue to tell yourself, I can't find anyone who wants to work, none of my coaches want to go Emerald, nobody wants to sign up as a coach, they just want to be customers, I can't even get people to respond to me, everyone's ghosting me. Like, when I'm saying those things out loud, or those things that you say, maybe just in your head, maybe to yourself, but if you are saying those things on repeat, that's exactly what you are going to get. So what happens is, when we think a thought enough, it creates an emotion. That emotion dictates the actions we do or do not take. And then that becomes our reality. And then that is proof to our brain that, oh, see, nobody wants to be a coach. But please tell me anytime that you have taken action from a negative space and created something positive. Probably never. So you have to tell yourself on the daily that hardworking women flow freely to you. You have to tell yourself that I am recruiting diamond and star diamond quality coaches to my team. I am $1 million earner with Beachbody every single year. You have to tell yourself the things that you want to happen as if they have already happened. If you are consistently telling yourself negative things, that is what you're going to get. And I know it seems voodoo and weird, but when you speak positively to yourself and then go take action from that place, amazing things happen. So people always ask me, how do you recruit? And this goes back to a couple years ago where I had to have that massive gut check with myself. And I came up with this question that I wanted to ask myself every single day. And that question was, am I being the type of coach that I hope to recruit? Am I being the type of coach that I hope to recruit? Because sometimes people want to blame their lack of success on the others on their team. And I'm here to tell you that you are responsible and you alone are responsible for the success on your team, right? Because it's not that Susie Joe didn't sign her second coach tonight so that she can go emerald so that you could go diamond tomorrow. It's that you didn't do a great enough job of recruiting people to your team that wanted to go emerald. You have to take extreme ownership of what is happening in your business, right? It is not frickin' Kayleen's fault that she dropped out of diamond on the last day of our 2-star qual bonus in my second business center last quarter. It's my fault that I didn't do a great enough job growing other women on her same leg to diamond in that business center. So it's not her fault that I lost the bonus. It's my fault that I lost the bonus, right? So I'm not going to blame others on my team when I am in full control of who I talk to, how many people I talk to, how many coaches I bring on each month, and how quickly I help them build this business. That's mine. So I had to ask myself that question. Am I being the type of coach that I hope to recruit? And at that time, yeah, I was kicking ass, hitting Success Club numbers out of the park, right? I was building a team. I was helping coaches rank advance. But there was something that made me want to say no to that question. And I didn't like that the answer to that question was no. And so I had to look deep inside myself and I had to be like, okay, how do I become the type of coach that I want to recruit? I have to lead by example in all areas. I have to be the best coach on the team. And that doesn't mean that I hit Success Club 100 or recruit 50 coaches a month. That's never been my story. Do I hit higher numbers? Sure. Do I always bring in new coaches to the team? Yes. But let me ask you this. If me, a seasoned coach of 6 years, is just getting Success Club 6, and then my new coach who's coming in and shy and nervous and overwhelmed sees that me, the leader, is only hitting 6, what do you think she's going to think? She's going to think that 6 is so freaking hard. There's no way that she could do that. Because if me, the leader, can only hit 6, how could she possibly do that? Right? You have to look at it as what are your coaches thinking and what are they going to do based off of the results that you are getting. So I'll tell you, I coached cheerleading for a long time, and your coaches or my kids, they will only do 25% of whatever you do. So if you're hitting 6, they're going to hit 0. Okay. Again, I'm not asking you to hit Success Club 100, but can you raise the bar a little bit so that you can show these new people coming in that it's possible for them, that Success Club is not hard, that they can help more than 3 people every single month and achieve all these awesome things and earn prizes and earn trips and earn income for their family. But if you, the leader, are skating by with 6 and bringing on a coach or none, how on earth do you think they are going to do that when they don't have your experience, they don't have your following, they don't have your charm, your charisma? You leveling yourself up gives your team permission to do the same. And so I had to level myself up in the area of recruitment because that's what I wanted my team to do. So I stopped talking about boot camps. I know, it's crazy, right? You guys are probably like, wait, what the hell? Like, how are we going to sell a challenge pack? I'll tell you how you're going to sell a challenge pack, okay? But you have to think about what our compensation plan rewards, and it's building a team. Sure, retail sales are great, awesome, right? But eventually, you want your team cycle bonus to surpass any amount of retail sales you could do in that week. And the only way to do that is by growing a team. And the only way to grow a team is by you being the best coach on the team. You lead by example. You are freaking vital behaviors till you die, right? That's what we do as coaches. We get results, we grow our mind with personal development, we share our journey, and we invite others to do that. So when your coaches come to you and they're like, I can't recruit, you being the best coach on the team, you're going to tell them exactly how to recruit. When your coaches come to you and they're like, I don't know how to get a coach started. Well, you're the best coach on the team, so you know exactly how to get a coach started, and you're going to teach them to do that same thing. But you can't teach someone something that you're not doing. So you have to get really good at talking about coaching. You have to get really good at bringing new coaches onto the team. You have to get really good at onboarding those coaches and helping them find success quickly. You have to do all those things first before your team's going to do it. So it's not like, oh, I got to diamond. Okay, everybody start working. No. You have to do all those things first. Okay, so once I do that, once I lead by example, right, and I build up those habits, so now it's easy for me to do that, right, then my coaches can go do that same thing. And then once they build up those habits and it's easy for them to do those things, now we can chase our goals together, right? So when I want us to be a 2-time elite team, because I have become the best coach on the team and taught my coaches to do that same thing, we can chase the goal of elite together. So at some points in this business, it is going to feel lonely. But that loneliness is just you revving up for this amazing team that's coming for you if you get really good at those things. So I do, then they do, and then we do, and we chase our goals together. And that's when the business gets really, really fun. Okay, so this is probably the number one question that people are always like, well, I can't do this, oh, I can't do this, or I can do this, but I can't do this, right? I did an entire national wake-up call on this, but I'm going to say it again. People want whatever you talk about. So that's why I had to draw the line in the sand 2 years ago and stop talking about boot camps, because I want women who want to build a business. Okay, so I know that number one, my job is to be proof the products work. And I know that sharing my journey is how to attract people to me. So part of my job is to share my workouts, to share my Shakeology, right? So if you want to sell bod memberships, share your workouts, okay? That's how you're still going to sign up customers, even if you're only talking about coaching, because you're going to be sharing your workouts, right? People are going to want fitness from you because they're going to see it. But this is where the frustrating part for coaches that come in and they struggle to sell a challenge pack is because they're only sharing their workouts. So what does your audience think? Your audience thinks that your results are from workouts alone. So if you want to sell challenge packs, then you got to get really good at talking about the supplements, and not in a way to sell, but in a way to share, a way to just show that part of your awesome results are from the amazing things you're putting in your body, right? And we have absolutely world-class products. So you should not be worried to talk about them. If you can dance in your kitchen every morning with Energize, you can fucking show your shake every single day. You can take a picture of a meal. You can show your containers. You can do all those things. Maybe you're just choosing not to, or you're feeling weird about it. But let me tell you, your job as a coach is to educate people, to empower them to make an informed decision. Okay? That is why people don't sign up, because there's too much confusion. So if you want people to be empowered to make an educated decision, You need to educate them on what you're doing. But people want to like make it a mystery, or like they get really comfortable showing their workouts, but they don't want to talk about their shake. And like when I'm talking about your shake, like today I did a time lapse of me making my shake, and then I just put the recipe. Okay, I'm showing people how to make a shake taste good. I'm showing that it's smooth, right? Like no weird textures, showing all the different things they can add to it, collagen, greens boost, right? Like any way to showcase the products. And it's never like, hey, buy this from me. I'm just showing what I'm doing so that when people look, when people watch, they see my results, they're going to know it's not just from workouts. And you have to get really, really comfortable with doing that. Okay? Because Shakeology, quite honestly, is the lifeblood of our business. So you got to get comfortable showing that. Now, if you want to build a team, which I hope you do, then you got to talk about building a team. I know it's just mind blowing, right? Your guys' minds are just freaking blown right now. You're like, why has no one ever told me that? Well, they probably have, but you probably chose not to do it, because I've told my team that for 2 years, 3 years straight now, and they still don't do it. I mean, some people do, but those people are building a team, and the people who don't struggle. But they also are frustrated that the people who have come in on a discount don't want to work. I mean, how weird is that, right? Those people didn't come into work. Now, they might change their mind later on down the road, but if you want to find women who want to build a business, you have to talk about building a business. I know, again, I'm just blowing your mind. And so here's the question that everyone says. Okay, well, so how do I talk about that? You know that everything you're doing is because you're a coach, right? Like waking up and doing your workout and dancing in your kitchen with your Energize, or whatever you do in the morning with your Energize, right? Like that's because you're a coach. That's not because you're a customer on a fitness journey. So tonight I want to invite you to let go of this idea that you're just a girl on a fitness journey. That was like so 2015 and it's 2021. So let's just let that go, right? Now you are a woman who is building a business centered around health and fitness. Okay. So every time you're talking, every time you're posting, everything needs to be through the lens of a coach. Okay. So when you post on Transformation Tuesday, it's not because 645 is the jam and you found To Be Mindset and it's changed your whole life. Those things are true, but that attracts people to boot camps. If you want to attract women to build a business centered around health and fitness, a transformation post should be more about how coaching gave you the accountability to follow through, how coaching gave you the tools to overcome your emotional eating, how coaching gave you the whatever it gave you to get the results that you're getting. If you go to my Instagram, 99.9% of my posts are about coaching. Why? Because I want to attract women to the business. Okay. I just got a message today and a girl was like, hi, how much time's needed? And I'm like, I literally have no idea what this is in response to. She's like, oh, you made a post about coaching last night. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, a little context would have been helpful, right? But you have to be continually talking about what you're doing, why you're doing it, where you're going, who you're looking for, exactly, right? Don't just like throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. Say exactly who you want to work with. Like I say all the time, quitters need not apply. Serious inquiries only. Hardworking women only. Like if you don't like a challenge, this ain't for you, honey. Okay? Like I am looking for hardworking women. Hardworking women. That's not you. We don't mesh. We don't vibe. We're not meant to be business partners, right? So, and you're like, well, I don't want to exclude people. You won't. When you narrow your search like that, you'll find the quality instead of the quantity. So instead of having to sift through people that don't want to do anything and just want a sorority, which is fine, but I'm looking for women who want to build a business. Okay. I don't need any more discount coaches on my team. I'm looking for women who want to build a business centered around health and fitness. Okay. So in your stories, workout is because you're a coach. It's your job to share what you're doing. If you can talk about this, if you can change the language, if you can make it more about this is your job versus just being a girl on a fitness journey, because those are a dime a dozen, right? People will start to understand and see what you're doing through a different light. And again, the clearer we can be, the more open people's ears are to hearing information about what you're doing. So if you're doing your workout, it's because you're a job. It's because it's your job. If you're reading a book, it's because it's your job, right? Like, I did not read books before I became a coach. I did not listen to podcasts before I became a coach. That's because it's my job to grow my mind. And how amazing is it that I work for a company that focuses on mental health as well as physical health. I think if more people knew that part of our job was to work on our mental health, people would be signing up left and right. So I try to talk about that all the time because there's a mental health crisis in our world. So why don't you talk about all of these amazing things that are your job? Because how many people go to a job every single day, come home and crack open a bottle of wine or a beer every single night just to deal? There's a better way, my friends, and you can share that with people, right? So you're working out, that's your job. You're reading a book, that's your job. You're drinking a shake, that's your job. Team freaking calls. This is one of my biggest annoyances is, okay, Boomerang, oh, team call was fire. I'm so inspired. Literally doesn't mean shit to anyone. Nothing. It means nothing. People watching you, do they think that we're talking about leggings? Do they think we're talking about how to squat? Who's to say, right? You have to get on your stories after this call and you have to talk about what you learned tonight. You have to talk about why you take an hour out of your Wednesday evening to be on this business training call. You have to talk about the opportunity, how you have so much wonderful opportunities to learn and grow on this team. You have to talk about that. And when I say talk, I don't mean text on your stories. I mean you getting on, showing your face, talking about it. That is the fastest way to get people interested, is you actually talking about what you're doing. Again, clear the confusion. It's not just mystery. Oh, I got to go on this cruise. Like, how'd you do that? Right? Be crystal clear about what you're doing, and you will find others who want to do that same thing. In your posts, again, we talked about the whole transformation thing. I relate everything back to coaching. I'm at lunch in the middle of the day with my daughter, thanks to coaching, right? I'm at Disneyland in the middle of the week. That's my dream, to be a freaking magic key holder at Disneyland. And coaching is the tool that I'm going to use to be able to pay for that, right? Every single thing can come back to coaching, because it's not Shakeology, it's not 645 that is creating the opportunity in your life. It is the coaching opportunity. Because if it was just 645 and just Shakeology, you would just be a customer, right? But customers don't have the same opportunity that coaches do. Coaches have the best freaking offer, and it is the coaching opportunity. And then in your community, one of the best ways to attract local people to your team is to have local meetups with your team. Like in July, I hosted a pineapple party at my house, and everybody wore pineapple stuff. We ate pineapple. We decorated pineapple cookies. I gave away a pineapple Scentsy fucking plug-in thing. Like, it was pineapple everything, right? It was so fun. What a freaking great way to show that others do this too. And on your stories, in your posts, recognizing the things that your team is doing, because sometimes you might be a team of one, but you can leverage the things that the big team is doing by every Thursday. So tomorrow, when people are shouting out emeralds and diamonds and star diamonds, I would click save graphic. I would go put that on my story and I would go shout them out. Why would I do that? To show my followers that when people join my team, success goes for everybody. That is the freaking easiest way to share why your team is the team to join, because success goes beyond you. And people rarely do it, right? Like, why wouldn't you grab those graphics? It doesn't matter if they're your coach. Leverage the success that the team is having. Like we're ranked number 38 right now. I tell my coaches all the time, and I'll go through their stories and they're like, number 38 team, number 38 team, right? I mean, technically that's my ranking, but it's the whole team's success. So everybody should be leveraging that success. So if you want to grow a team, you have to talk about growing a team. And if you're like, well, I don't have anything to show for it, it doesn't matter. You just need excitement and enthusiasm and a vision on where you're going, because people want to go somewhere with someone who's going somewhere. I have a 3-star premier coach on my team. She was invited by me, and she was invited by someone that she was actually friends with in real life. We were more just social media kind of acquaintances. She didn't join her because this girl was like, oh, I just love the community. She joined me because she knew I was going somewhere, and she knew that I could help her reach her goals. So do your followers look at you as a person that's going to help them reach their goals? And the only way for them to know that you're that person is for you to tell them and for you to show them. When I see people from high school or, randomly they message me, they're like, I just love watching all your success. How do they know I'm successful? Because I tell them. Because I share what I'm doing relentlessly, like it's my job, because it is, right? But I share it all. The good, the bad, the ugly, the fucking 500 million failures and flops. I share it all. Why? Because a few years ago, I signed a #dream team coach of mine who quit. And you know what she said to me? She said, I didn't think it would be this hard. So that was light bulb. I'm not talking about the hard. I'm talking about the swag and the trips and the lifestyle, the be your own boss, create your own schedule, right? Great. Those are all great and they're freaking perks. But do you know how freaking hard you have to work to make those things a reality? So I had to start sharing that. And then guess what? I started finding other women who wanted to do that too. So what I want you to do, I'm almost done here, but what I want you to do is give yourself that same gut check. I want you to go through the last 30 days of posts that you've made. Okay, so your last 30 posts. And I want you to write down how many times you talked about health and fitness, tally. Okay, I want you to write down how many times you talked about building a business. Okay, that's not like, and then I know your team is called Sisterhood, so I'm not dogging it at all, but that's not just like, I love my community. Okay, that's great. That's not talking about building a business. Okay, tally. And then how many call to action posts that you had, tally. Those tallies are probably your indicator of why you're getting what you're getting, right? Every Monday night on my team call, I tell my team, go talk about what we talked about tonight and invite to the team. And I'll get off and it's call was fire, boomerang, 500 of them, maybe a couple girls talking, right? And my coaches who complain that they don't have any working coaches, I'm like, you need to talk about coaching. And then every post is about their upcoming boot camp. I know it can feel scary, but it's never going to feel not scary if you don't do it. All right, that's what I have for you guys.
Oh man, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. I feel like you were fire, like #boomerang fire. But I loved how you ended with the taking action and doing a little bit of an social audit on yourself, because I think that gut check is good to come from yourself and just do a bit of an audit and be like, okay, where am I at? Let's be honest with ourselves. Where are we at? What are my posts targeting? What are, from an outside perspective, what are people observing of us, right? And I think that we're all guilty of the that call was fire boomerang. I think we all do it, right? And you're right, from the lens of an outsider, they're like, don't get it. Great, you were on Zoom, so fun, right? We're all on Zoom. Everyone's working from home, working on Zoom, right? So I totally resonate with what you said. And I think it's true. The more you talk about it and the more energy you have, the more excitement you have, the more passion you have about coaching, the easier it is to attract. And that's just the truth. So listen, guys, next week, we're all going to leadership. Danny, are you going to be at leadership next week?
Yes.
Okay. So the top coaches in the network are going to leadership next week. It is your opportunity, even if you're not there, to share what's going on there, to talk about the coach community, to talk about the success in your coach team, to talk about it, to share, like, screenplay, screen share all of our stories, share the posts, share what's happening, and say, like, create yourself goals of that's where I'm going to be next year. Or this is what's happening in my organization. This is what you can do. This is, like, share it with your excitement and energy, share what's going on. So I, like, totally loved what you said tonight. I resonate so much with what you said. Appreciate your time. Thank you for spending time with us.
I want to ask any questions before we let Danny go. I feel like we have her here. Is that okay, Danny?
Of course. Open book right here.
Hey, Danny, it's Kelly. I just wanted to ask, would you have the same advice and approach for someone that's fairly new? Do you think you need to show people your journey first and then start talking about the business, or would you do that from the get-go?
If I could go back in time, I would start talking about it from the get-go. I think a lot of coaches, myself included, have this idea that you have to prove yourself first. And I also think a lot of people watching you believe they have to get results first to do what you're doing. And it's not true in any instance. I'll tell you, I kind of came out of the gates running after the first couple weeks where I did nothing because I was, like, embarrassed and was like, what have I done with my life? I'm a loser. But after I got over that, then I realized that, you know, I have this freaking awesome thing. I'm having a great time and I can make money and I'm going to get in shape while I'm doing it. And I came out the gates freaking running. I mean, new coach hitting Success Club 20, 30, 40. The month I went diamond, I hit Success Club 50. And how did I do that? Because I was excited and I had enthusiasm and I wasn't afraid to share. So I think a lot of coaches could build faster and would see more success, especially monetary success, if they were willing to invite to the coaching opportunity sooner. And for probably the first 4 years, I just used the phrase, do this with me. There was no promise of, I'm going to mentor you. Now I can say that 6 years in, after building an 8, 5, and 1-star business, yes, I am going to mentor you. I know exactly what to do and how to do it, right? But in the beginning, we're kind of learning and growing together. It's more like, hey, let's link arms and run towards our goals together. And I think a lot of new coaches feel as if they have to prove something in order to be able to help people. But it's just simply not true, right? You're excited, and as long as you're willing to pour into people, that's all you really need. And it's the same thing for the people who are watching you, who think they have to lose X amount of pounds before they could even, you know, call themselves a coach. It's not true, because people want to be on the journey with you. If you wait until you get where you're going, you will miss out on so many people that you could have helped. And I think back, you know, how many times have you been scrolling social media and you saw somebody that you wanted to invite and they're like, I'm a Beachbody coach. And you're like, well, that fucking just chaps my ass, right? Like, why didn't I ask them? Right. And it's because we get in our head that, like, well, once I'm here, then I'm worthy. And you're worthy right now. You're worthy right now of helping people get started as a coach because you're doing it. And that's what I tell my coaches all the time. They're worried they don't know how to lead. I'm like, well, you'll never know how to lead if you don't try. So I think no matter what, day 1, day 101, you should be inviting to the coaching opportunity because it's truly the best offer that we have.
Thank you.
Amazing question. Does anybody else have any other questions? We have Danny here, if you guys have any other questions at all.
Don't have a huge community. Feel like I have to invite from the challengers. Approach for inviting. Don't have a huge community. I feel like I have to invite from my challengers. The approach of inviting people that aren't in the community. Yes. Yes. Because you never know who needs this. And you'll never know. Like, I posted a post 2 years ago. It was a picture of my daughter and I sitting on the couch in matching jammies. And I talked about that day we went and Chloe got her first manicure. It's just fucking adorable. And that post and talking about me paying for the manicure for me and Chloe, I signed a coach because a mom watching with 2 little girls was like, I want to pay for our manicures because she was a stay-at-home mom, not bringing any income. So again, taking everything back to coaching, and you know, my lady doesn't even charge Chloe, so you know, it cost me $25, right? But it's like bringing that back, like you never know what is going to inspire somebody to get off the fence. So I always tell my coaches, like, we cannot decide for people. So don't feel like the only people you can invite to coaching are people who've already said yes to being customers. Because again, you don't know who needs this, who wants this, who's watching on the other side of the screen. Like, God, I wish I could do what she does, right? But most people aren't going to be brave enough to ask. So you have to go be brave first, pave the path, and have no emotional attachment to the outcome of that invite, right? You're simply just planting a seed, because most people aren't going to say yes on the first time. If they do, they're probably a serial killer. So it's like, just don't worry about it, right? Like, just keep inviting, and people will eventually say yes, or they'll eventually tell you to kick rocks. And in 6 years, no one's ever told me to kick rocks. Okay. But there are mean people. There's a lot of mean people, but you just have to know that.
Great questions. Any last questions?
I have a question. My name's Gabrielle. So I was just wondering, so of course, like, putting the parallel of at first, like maybe when you were inviting more to the challenge, like to start strong, whatever, like your 3-week thing. And you're in your cold market, and so you're talking to people you don't know. So do you have the same approach talking about the business? Like, do you get straight into talking to the business? Like, that's what your account is about. So like, you don't necessarily chit chat for long, you just talk about the business right away. You're looking for the women to talk to your team. Like, how do you do that with like a total stranger, really, that you've just started following?
So I don't actually do a ton of invites to the business because I'm looking for a specific person, right? But if I see somebody I like, I will literally force myself to just invite them. And I just simply say, hey, Gabrielle, I just absolutely love your energy. I just think that you would be absolutely amazing at what I do. Have you ever considered doing what I do as a coach, right? Like, I am short and sweet. I'm direct to the point. I hate people who waste my time, so I'm certainly not going to waste other people's times. And I really hate people who bait me before they invite me. So I just don't go that route. I always think that you should invite the way that you would like to be invited, and something that you would respond to. So if you wouldn't respond to a 14-paragraph message with somebody's life story, then please don't send that. Because like, when people send that to me, I'm like, holy fucking shit, Ashley from Washington, who made $20,000 selling toothpaste. Like, I don't care, man. Like, when you're sliding into the DMs, you got to know that they didn't ask for that. So you got to come across in the best way possible. But because I talk about coaching so much and invite to it via stories, via survey links on my posts, slide this bar, I'm hosting a sneak peek, can I send you the recording? That's how I get into conversations with people about coaching. Unless I come across a profile that I really like, obviously I'm going to follow them first, and hopefully they follow me back. If they don't, I will just invite them pretty shortly. But I do majority of invites to boot camp, and then, so those are behind the scenes, right? So those I invite to the boot camp, and then everybody who says yes to a challenge pack gets invited to join the team. Everybody. And I know that can also be very scary for people too. But as soon as they say yes, give an email and give flavors, it's okay. Well, now there's fucking 3, but there's 2 options to sign up today. They both cost the same. One is as a regular customer. All future orders will be at retail. Second is as a coach. All future orders will be at 25% off, and you have the opportunity to get paid for your referrals. Which sounds best to you? simple, easy, direct, they will tell you. They will say, just a customer, or I can never be a coach, or yeah, discount sounds great, right? You're going to get a wide range of answers, right? But again, it's another way to open up the conversation about being a coach, especially if it's somebody that you really want as a coach. Like, you know, when you take that approach and you're not scared to offer the opportunity, you'll find that a lot of people are wanting to sign up as coaches, but they're not going to tell you. People are scaredy cats. So that's kind of how I approach it. But basically, if you are in my business, AKA you follow me, you watch my stories, you like my posts, I'm going to invite you to my business. Whether I've talked to you ever or not, doesn't really matter to me. You're in my business. You're literally in my daughter's fucking bedroom when you're watching my stories. Like, there's nothing more personal than that. So me inviting you to my business is not out of the question. It's pretty much expected if you're following me. And I say that. I say that on my stories. I'm like, you haven't got invited yet. I just haven't got to you. I'll get to you. Like, I'm just crystal clear. Like, I don't want there to be any confusion about why I'm here or what I'm doing.
Well, great, thanks.
Hi, Danny. My name is Clarissa. I have a quick question for you. So I have been coaching since March and have kind of, like how you said, kind of came out of the gate running, but I am now starting to kind of build my team. But at the same time, I'm just wondering about balancing time in between building up your team with coaches and still making sure that you're giving the time to your community.
So I think, God, I don't know when it was, maybe 5 years ago, Doug Moss had like posted, you know, time spent recruiting versus time spent working with your team. And when you are not a diamond, 100% of your time should be spent recruiting. When you become a diamond, 90% of your time should be spent recruiting and 10% should be spent on your team. So I've always been very like, these are my boundaries with my time. I don't let people suck my time in any way. Like, if you want a therapy session, that's not me, right? That's the trained professional. Like, if you need a friend's ear, sure. But for the most part, it's business, right? So just making sure that whatever time you have for the business, you're using it efficiently. So if you only have 10 minutes a day to talk to coaches or to check in with challengers, then just be on your shiz for that 10 minutes. And then you just have to say, that's good enough. That's the bandwidth that I have. That's what I can do with the time that I have. I think people try to chronic coach and then they get burned out really fast. And in 6 years, I've never been burned out on the business just because I fucking love it, right? I just like the thrill of this business is like everything to me. Like, I'm like, hell yeah, who can I sign up today? Like, how can I get those Success Club points up? Who can I get to Emerald? Like, let's fucking go. Like, I love it. But just really setting those boundaries and focusing on the things that are going to point you closer to your goals. Because a lot of times we focus on fluff that doesn't mean anything, and then we're frustrated with where we are.
Thanks so much.
Somebody asked about tracking in the comments. So for me, I just I love pen and paper. So like right now, I'm just doing a tracker that each day I have a set amount of people to add to my network and then a set amount of people to invite, because those are really the most important things that you do. So I love like number synchronicities. I'm really weird when it comes to that. So like this tracker that I'm following, like based on the day, that's how many people I have to invite. So like today I have to invite 22 people. Okay. And then it grows from there. And so the first day of the month, I only had to invite one person, but I had to add 30 people to my network. So they kind of like go opposite of each other. So I'm always adding new people and I'm always inviting new people. And then sometimes I go crazy and I do 1,000 invite challenge with my team for the month. And you know, like I do all kinds of things, but as long as I'm filling out a tracker each and every day and that I know that I'm checking those boxes, that works for me. As far as like follow-ups, I just have an Excel spreadsheet. So anybody that I invite gets put on the Excel spreadsheet, and then where I invited them from and what day I invited, and then little notes that I have. So I like Excel because you can like filter and column, and like one of my coaches is like a freaking boss at it. She has like color coding. Like I'm not that crazy. I'm just really, but you know, you can like filter it and alphabetize and all that stuff. So I just use Excel. I know a lot of people do a lot of things, but for me, I just, everything I keep as simple as possible. Otherwise, I'm just not going to do it.
Amazing. You're incredible. Thank you so much for your authenticity and for sharing all your nuggets and your truth and helping to pour into us tonight. So we appreciate you and your time.
Yay. Thank you guys so much for having me.
No problem. Have a great night.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, guys.